The being recognizes the book, in silence and by offering itself pauses or truces, during journeys and battles. If it listens to itself, it will discover the book, and discover itself. In silence, beauty dissolves any trickery that so-called destiny attempts to impose. The likeness that remains is unsustainable, due to the impossibility of hindering its spherical expansion, leading the being to penetrate and overcome the most subtle aspects that sustain the universe. Life exists beyond any dimension. The book is the spokesperson for this truth, and the gateway open to the rare and the mad. It also gently advises that any movement that distances or fails to lead the being back to itself may be disregarded. The being observes that, upon waking, it remembers nothing of when it was asleep. When it sleeps, it remembers nothing of when it was awake. When alive, it remembers nothing of when it was not. And when it is not alive, it remembers nothing of when it was. Without the conscious being in each state, moments have no meaning, add nothing, and take nothing away. In other words, the being is there to be, not to truly exist. The only path is the path of the being to itself. Without the being, nothing exists, not even consciousness, for consciousness is the full state of the being. It is the sole empire, where the being reigns. As for the universe external to the being, as repeatedly stated, it is not external to it, and manifests only through the presence of the being, always as a whole. That is, the universe is never fragmented. The universe emerges from the being, and not from external forces or divinities. The images put into action are produced within the being, maintained and moved by it. Infinity begins and ends within the being that generates it. Likewise, eternity begins and ends within the being. By attributing value to things, the being gives meaning to its creation, behaviors, relationships, laws, and rules. By removing the value from things, the being restores matter to its origin, and returns itself to its origin. At this point in the treatise, disregarding the forces that demand the self's participation, with sensitivity in the movement and valuation of things, must be clearly understood. Forces clash only in the absence of control.